CBS Radio brings you The Couple Next Door, written by Peg Lynch and starring Peg Lynch and Ethel Bunce.
Yes, for goodness sakes, what is it, Betsy? And please don't slam the door when you come in the house. Now, really, dear, I've told you so many times.
There's a man in our yard, and he's got a telescope.
A what?
A man, and he's got a telescope.
Telescope? What's he looking at? It's 4 PM. There certainly aren't any stars out.
He said he was surveying.
Surveying what?
I don't know.
You sure he's in our yard?
Yes, and there's another man quite a ways off, and he's got a telescope or something, too. And they keep waving and talking to each other.
What are they saying?
I don't know. I couldn't even understand them. Numbers or something.
Wasn't that funny?
He said it had to do with the new Thruway.
Oh.
Is it going through our house? Do we have to move?
Oh, Betsy, now where did you hear any such thing?
You and Daddy were talking about it the other night, and you sounded funny.
Now, you stop worrying about it, dear.
But I don't want to move. I like this house. And I told the man that, and he said something about a lot of people being unhappy or something. And I don't like him.
Well, really, why should he worry you? Now, that really makes me mad now.
Do we have to sell our house? Is it going to be ripped down, our new house?
Now, you just stop worrying. Of course it isn't, dear.
I told him you and Daddy built this house, and he said that's too bad.
Now, you just stop worrying, Mommy. Will go and talk to him.
Tell him he can't have our house.
I will, dear. I will indeed. Now, you just stop worrying your pretty head. I'll go and see him right this minute. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, as a matter of fact, it's afternoon. 4 PM to be exact, and I should like to know what you're doing on our property.
I won't be much longer, ma'am. I'm just surveying for the new Thruway.
Yes, well, I will thank you to do your surveying elsewhere, please.
I beg your pardon?
I said I will thank you to do your surveying elsewhere.
Well, I'm sorry, but this happens to be where the new Thruway is going, which I'm sure you
Oh, no, it's not.
Well, I'm afraid there isn't much
I'm
you
not
or anybody
going
else...
to have my little girl upset by people like you coming around and talking about the house being torn down, and goodness knows what else you filled her head with. She's so worried the way you talk to her.
Oh, madam, believe me, I hardly said a word to your daughter. As a matter of fact, she's been out here talking a mile a minute, and while I don't mind little girls chattering, you understand, I have one of my own. I'm not getting my work done, and frankly, really, I just...
Well, I'm not going to have her upset. We just built this house 2 years ago, and we finally have everything just the way we want it. Well, there are a few things we're going to do yet, eventually, but, we're all very happy with it. And I think it is psychologically bad for a child to have to worry that her home is going to be destroyed, so you people can put a road through it.
Well, madam, I sympathize with you, believe me, but I have nothing to do with that. I only survey
Well,
around
it's not
here.
going to happen. Why can't you people put your Thruway someplace else? Why do you want to go through the edge of town and disrupt people's lovely, lovely homes and yards when you've got loads of open country? Really, I just think it's outrageous. I just think it's outrageous.
As I said, ma'am, really, I have nothing to do with it.
Well, you're
All I
surveying
do
on
is-
our property, and I can assure you it's a waste of time. Because we're going to fight this thing. And I don't care how much money you people offer us. We won't sell.
Madam, believe
It's our
me.
home. It's our home. And we love it, and you can just put your Thruway somewhere else. Now, while I have nothing against you personally, I am going to ask you politely, again, to get off our property, please, or I shall be compelled to call the police and have you arrested for trespassing. As I said to him, I'm going to ask you politely, again, to get off our property, or I shall have you arrested for trespassing.
Yeah, well,
That's
what did he
I
do?
said. Well, he got off.
He did?
Yeah, he got off. He left. He went over and talked to his friend who was some distance away, and I could see them arguing, And
Well, darling, I don't think you could have had him arrested for trespassing.
Why not? He was on our property.
Look, this is a state matter.
Well,
believe me, if this Thruway business is definitely settled, there won't be one darn thing we can...
I told him it didn't make any difference how much money they offered us. We wouldn't sell.
Honey...
We won't if they offered us twice what it cost us to build.
To begin with, they wouldn't offer us twice. They'd have it appraised. That's what they do first. And make us an offer. I mean, while we wouldn't lose money, I'm sure we'd get back what we put into the house. And
do you want to sell?
no, of course I don't want to sell.
You certainly sound like as though you
honey.
don't care at all.
Why don't you be sensible about this? What I'm trying to say to you is that there won't be one darn thing we can do about it if the state, and they're the ones who decide...
There certainly is something we can do about it.
What?
We can hold out. We can refuse to sell. You're always hearing about how people refuse to sell.
Darling, will you listen to me
when
just a...
when you listen to me, when they tore down that whole block of old buildings on Elm Street to put up some big apartments. You remember all that about 2 or 3 years ago or something? Yes. There was one man who had a little grocery store right on the corner, and they wanted that corner, they wanted the whole block, and he refused to sell, and he's still there, right on the corner. He's still there.
I know all that.
Yes.
That is quite different.
He just held out. He refused. Why? I don't see it's any different at all.
Because that was a private enterprise. Believe me, if the state decides to build a road, there isn't one darn thing you can do to prevent them. I am telling you now, there is nothing.
Yes, there is. We can fight it.
Honey, listen.
Or we'll tell them that we'll sell it for $1 million.
Don't be ridiculous. Now,
we read in the paper just the other day about some man who held out for some fantastic amount of money. Well, maybe it was $250,000, and he got it.
And that was a private enterprise.
Yeah.
This is a state highway.
Yeah, it's not going to be any state highway going through my house. I don't understand you. All the money we spent. That whole year of agony we went through building this house. And you just sit there and accept it blithely now that we might have to give it all up, have the house ripped down. You don't even want to put up a fight.
Of course we're going to put up a fight. Everybody on this side of town whose property is concerned in this thing is going to put up a fight. In fact, they're putting up a fight right now to defeat this whole Thruway business. But if the bill passes, there's nothing we can do then, which is what I am trying to explain to you. There's nothing we can do.
Well, I just won't give up my lovely home. I just won't. Why can't they put the Thruway a half a mile further away or a mile where it's more open country?
Darling, that's what we hope will happen. But if it doesn't...
I won't sell. The house is in my name, too.
Honey, they can force us to sell. Don't you understand? They simply condemn the house.
Condemn it?
Yes.
Condemn it? Oh, you got it all mixed up, Tom. That's what you do to a building that's falling to pieces. How could they condemn a brand new house?
Well, look, let's not worry about it until it happens, huh?
Well, I am worried about it, and so is Betsy, the poor little thing, and I certainly don't understand your passive acceptance of this whole thing.
I am not passively accepting it. We've had all sorts of discussions about it in the Businessmen's Club. Action's already been taken at the state capitol to express our violent disapproval.
Oh, expressing our violent disapproval. It needs more than that. I think the whole thing is just outrageous. You had a fit because Betsy ran her bicycle into your precious rhododendrons. Now you don't even seem to care if a bulldozer just sails through the front hall here.
Honey, look, I am sicker about this than you are, believe me. In fact, the whole thing seems like such a bad nightmare, I wouldn't even allow myself to think about it, if you want to know. I was only explaining the facts to you. And if we have to sell, we have to sell.
The house is in my name, too. I won't sell my half.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, darling, look, just don't think about it, will you? Maybe it won't happen. Let's hope not, anyhow. I don't think I could face building another house again, either.
I just love the wallpaper in the powder room. I don't want another house, anyhow. I want this house. It's so beautiful right by the lake and everything, and my carpet.
Darling, you seem to forget they're draining the lake for this project, too.
Well, these Thruway people can just go jump in the lake, as far as I'm concerned, before it's drained. Or they can jump in after it's drained, too. I don't care. It's mad.
Well, darling, I know how you feel, but just don't think about it, huh? How about getting us some dinner? I'm starved.
I'm going to call Mrs. Houston. She went to school with the governor's wife. She roomed with her. In fact, we all belong to the same sorority. I'm sure I said to Mrs. Houston once that I was a Gamma Phi, and she said she was, too. And if she roomed at the sorority house with the governor's wife, that means the governor's wife is a Gamma Phi, too.
Look, if the Thruway goes through, it goes through. It doesn't matter if you and the governor's wife are Gamma Phis or sweethearts of Sigma Chi or granddaughters of the Civil War?
Oh, granddaughters of the Civil War.
Well,
really.
you just better face the fact,
You
that's all.
face it. The house is in my name, too, and I won't sell. Oh, now, who's that? You better go. I must look terrible.
I'll go, yes, you do. Now, look, don't worry. Well, it hasn't happened yet, and you know what Aunt Effie always says, don't trouble till trouble troubles you.
Yes. Oh, it's that man.
Huh?
The surveyor. He's back again. I can see him on the porch.
Oh, really? Oh, well, he's probably got permission of some kind to survey.
Well, if he has...
All right, now sit still, will you?
I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to...
Now, just please, it's not his fault. He's got his orders, and you're so upset. Just let me talk to him alone.
No, this is my home, and I'm not going to move, ever.
All right. Now,
ever.
try to calm down. I'll go talk to him. Now, wait a minute. Did I hear you correctly? Did you say our property is not going to be affected by the new Thruway?
That's right, sir.
What?
Your wife seemed so upset when I talked to her earlier. I really didn't get a chance to explain everything.
Hold everything, would you, honey? Honey, come here, quick.
Actually, if the proposed Thruway is finally settled...
Well, wait just a minute, would you? I want my wife to hear about
Sure.
this, too. You know, she's been terribly upset, and I know this will be good news to her.
What is it?
Honey.
What is it, dear?
Dear,
Hello.
honey, the surveyor's got good news for us.
I didn't get a chance to explain to you, Mrs. Piper, that this survey we're making this week is really only a check on the earlier proposed route for the Thruway. And although we didn't complete the job today, I thought you'd like to know that there's little question about the Thruway affecting your property.
You mean we won't have to sell? Our house doesn't have to go?
That's right, darling. The man here was nice enough to stop back to tell you, knowing that you were so upset about it.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Well, I'm afraid I wasn't very nice to you earlier.
That's all right. I know how you feel. Well, you don't need to worry anymore. You can keep your house.
Wonderful.
You're pretty lucky, too, you know. I'd say it was just a matter of a few inches, practically.
What do you mean? What do you mean inches?
Well, a few feet, really. But the Thruway will just be on the other side of the stone wall which borders your property. Well, not the highway itself, but the Thruway area. You know, the shoulders and the culverts and all that sort of thing. Well, I wanted your wife to know you won't lose your house. Say, I guess I'd better get home to dinner. Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye. We needn't say thank you. Dear?
Inches. Thruway is missing us by inches.
We didn't even say thank you.
Didn't say thank you. I couldn't talk. I couldn't even think. I was paralyzed. I still am. But did you hear what he said? Inches. Oh, you won't lose your lovely home, dear. We'll just sit on the steps and watch the cars go by.
Now, calm down. It isn't definite.
We can have little games, count license plates. How many cars from Texas? Oh, there goes one from Florida.
Now, stop it. Maybe it won't even happen. Don't trouble, you know, until...
Maybe we could open a hot dog stand. Piper's Piping Hot Pups. How's that?
Fine, dear. Look, at least we'll have the house. Now, that's one.
Have it. We're stuck with it. All we need is a name for it. Pull up to Piper's Pantry for delightful, delicious home-cooked meal.
The Couple Next Door stars Peg Lynch and Ethel and Bunce.